Hey guys, my name is Nora Franch, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at CatholicMindsetCoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hey everyone. Today's reading is from October 2nd in Daily Reflections on page 284, and it's titled The Acid Test. As we work the first 9 steps, we prepare ourselves for the adventure of a new life. But when we approach step 10, we commence to put our AA way of living to practical use. Day by day, in fair weather or foul, then comes the acid test. Can we stay sober, keep an emotional balance, and live to good purpose under all conditions? And that's from the AA 12 and 12, page 88. This one really hit home to me. So when I first got abstinent in program, I was abstinent from food, from my trigger foods, but I was an emotional wreck. I eventually started to describe myself, and now I've heard this from other people, so I'm sure I didn't come up with it myself. But my biggest struggle was emotional sobriety. I could not get a handle on it. I was on a roller coaster all the time, often feeling like I was in the pits of despair. I would describe things as being, if I had a fight with someone the next day, I'd be emotionally hungover. Like I'd feel heavy. My feet wouldn't move as fast. I felt like I could barely pick up my head. It was almost like something had been like physically ingested, but no, it was this emotional toxicity that I existed in. And yes, I'm sure that is what led to my eating disease. I am sure of it. I have no doubt. But it was something that took me years to start to get a handle on. I think I was abstinent for maybe a good year and a half or 2 years before I started to identify this emotional insobriety. And this was the thing that was going to kill me if I did not get well. And the reason why I didn't plan to bring this up in the podcast, or at least not yet, but I eventually found something that helped me quite a bit. And it was this form of coaching, of mindset coaching and mind management that really helped me a ton. It helped me so much that I decided to become a coach myself. So this emotional balance, this is something that I do now, that I do for on the side. I also have a full-time job, but I do this on the side because I so firmly believe in the necessity of emotional balance in order to stay sober. But what I've realized too is that, it's something that all people need in order to live well and in order to be happy. So I just wanted to let you guys know that there's something like that out there, that I am one of those people who are out there who do this thing. And it was just amazing. I learned how to process an emotion, and what I mean by that is, like, face it head on. I didn't even realize that, so much of my pain and so much of my disease was coming from fear of even facing an emotion that is hard and that is uncomfortable. And I know that in my disease, I I would numb out with food and binging and all these things because, well, what I came to realize was because I didn't want to feel something. I didn't want to work on what was going on. I was sad, or I was frustrated, or I was bored, or I was lonely, or I was depressed, or overwhelmed, or occasionally celebratory, but that wasn't as much my thing. I know it can be. But I just want people to know that is out there, and I only share it because it was such a and still it is such a massive pain point for me, and it was such a hindering block in my own recovery, in my ability to be abstinent and free and happy. And because for so long I was free from the food, for so long I was eating right, I was technically abstinent, and I completely felt like a dry drunk. I walked through life feeling like a skeleton or like a shell of myself. And I can feel myself almost like wanting to cry a little bit about it, because this is the heart of my experience, was learning how to actually become attuned to my heart and feel what was going on, because so much of my disease came from not knowing how to feel, not realizing that I was even feeling something, and then learning how to feel it was a little bit of an excruciating process, but that's what the 12 steps are. It's like we talked about in one of the earlier episodes, that inner archaeological dig. That is the thing that will get us freedom. And so I want to offer that to you, just so that you know it's out there, so that you know it exists, so that you know it's a way you can find outside help. And I really hope that some of you do. For those of you who need it, I hope you find that help and you reach out for that. And if you have any questions about it, you can always contact me about that. But I'm going to go on. So the acid test, page 284. I'm going to read the actual reflection on the reading. I know the promises are being fulfilled in my life, but I want to maintain and develop them by the daily application of step 10. I have learned through this step that if I am disturbed, there is something wrong with me. The other person may be wrong too, but I can only deal with my feelings. When I am hurt or upset, I have to continually look for the cause in me, and then I have to admit and correct my mistakes. It isn't easy, but as long as I know I am progressing spiritually, I know that I can mark my effort up as a job well done. I have found that pain is a friend. It lets me know where there is something wrong with my emotions, just as a physical pain lets me know there is something wrong with my body. When I take the appropriate action through the 12 steps, the pain gradually goes away. And that is so beautiful. I want to give a whole nother share on that share. So maybe I'll do that with the next one. I'm just going to let that settle with you guys. I love you. I hope you're doing well. Stay in the rooms. Keep your butt in the chair. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.